Welcome back to the F125 My Team Save here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. We are at Spa this time around in Belgium for a sprint weekend. No sprint in Austria as we've been traditionally used to. There is now, of course, a sprint in Spa. Oscar Piastri has tended to do well around Spa-Francorchamps, as you will remember from real life. We're hoping to do well ourselves, but not necessarily anticipating on doing well ourselves. Hopefully it's a bit of an in-between from the success of Canada and Austria and the misery of the British Grand Prix last time out. It didn't go well at our home Grand Prix, in all honesty. To be honest, had it been dry the whole time, might well have gone well at our home Grand Prix. Wasn't dry the whole time, didn't go well at our home Grand Prix. We are back to the... oh, weird, I haven't changed the suits back. That's a good reminder, isn't it? We have changed back to the original livery now, and we've added the new decal of our latest sponsor, that being Finition. You can see them there on the side pod of the, to be fair, on the side of the nose, and we've also got them on the, if we can get there quickly enough, back of the wing mirrors as well. So Finition now added into the set. It's going to be a while before we can add another sponsor in a number of different places, but I think because we've now got a number of different unique sponsors, the car is really coming along quite nicely. Really want to add more to the nose when I can, but at the minute, really happy with how the car's looking at this stage of our time in the save. There we go. They're going to be in the right suit now, when it eventually ever bloody loads. So do drop the video a like if you're enjoying the save so far. I'd appreciate it very much indeed, of course. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any more here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. If you want to see these all streamed, well, I say all streamed live over on Twitch. Actually, this is the very rare occasion where I'm actually recording this off stream. So this one, you're all seeing for the very first time together here on the YouTube channel. But ordinarily, we stream live on Twitch and on the main YouTube channel, so all links you'll find in the description down below. We're going to head together now to Spa. I have gone with the harder tyre allocation. Oh, we went balanced. Okay. I'd made the decision. I couldn't remember which way I went. With regards to how things are going right now, where is it? Is it under results? No, it's going to be in the engineering one, and it's going to be progress history. So, on the first car, with the first car, we're actually chasing a number of other sides now, as you can see there. With the second car, not so much, but we've got a lot of upgrades on Victor Martins' car right now, so I'm hoping that we can be genuinely competitive at Spa. But it depends what weather's doing, because, well, actually, look at that. Zane Maloney's now up to 68 rated. Intriguing. Zane is rivaling now Victor Martin for overall rating. We've driven with Victor at every race so far this season. It's probably my intention to do so, although maybe we race as Zane once somewhere. Maybe you guys could help me decide where we race as Zane once. He's Barbadian. Barbadian? He's from Barbados. So I don't know. Oh, thank God the race is dry, but the sprint is wet. Yikes. So I don't know where we'd perhaps go with. Wow, very wet. Where we'd race with Zane. Obviously, you choose a home Grand Prix, but neither of them have a home Grand Prix on the calendar because there's no French Grand Prix anymore. And, well, there's not ever been a Grand Prix in Barbados. So, a little bit of rain in practice, a lot of rain in the sprint race, but thankfully a dry main Grand Prix. Expecting misery in the sprint and maybe a little bit of redemption in the Grand Prix itself. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to go to track. Car feels quite quick around Spa. We've actually spent a lot of resource points, as you can tell there now, actually. We did have 8,000 or 9,000 at one point, and now we were actually under 1,000 as we came into that practice session. With the sprint weekend, only one session, obviously, so we've tried to maximise as best we can. We've gotten all the resource points out of it we could. We just didn't quite get all of the boosts for 2 of the 3 practice session programmes, but that's not too much of an issue for us at this particular stage. So what I'm going to do is qualify for the sprint with a wet setup, hoping that we'll be able to recover what we lose in qualifying in the race itself. Then obviously we'll come out of parc fermé conditions. Once you've done the sprint weekend, we can tweak and run with a dry setup for qualifying and the full Grand Prix itself. So I hope we're going to be okay. I felt competitive enough in the practice session. And then Max Verstappen went faster than me in intermediate conditions than I went in the dry. So that's made me now doubt everything that I had thought about where I was competitively. So the car feels alright, and compared to the practice programs, I was very much in the green. But against the other drivers, which is kind of the more important bit, I might not have the pace. So we'll wait and see. In Austria, the other cars set up specifically for the wet in qualifying, and we set up for the dry and just tried to make the most. We set up in between a dry and a wet setup. I'm just going to set up for the wet now for the sprint, and then fully for the dry for the race. Thankfully, it's all one weather and all one weather rather than a mixture of both, so we can just kind of prepare for the wet, prepare for the dry. Ready? Let's prepare for the wet. Okay, so we're about to come across the line for our lap in Q1, or SQ1 of course, on the medium tyres. I ran out of deployment out of Blanchimont, so even before Blanchimont, so 5th. Alright, I thought I'd set up for the wet. Apparently I might still be running wings that are slightly too low, maybe. There was a big gap between those at the top and those at the bottom as we headed out for that lap, and that looks like that's still the case here. Nearly 3 seconds at the back end of the grid off the front of the field. So I wonder, well, last year on F124 we always tended to perform well at Spa, not quite as well as we used to at China, or as well as we have done in Canada and Austria so far this season, but we do tend to do well here traditionally. That might still be the case, but obviously this is just one qualifying lap, so I'm not going to draw too many conclusions yet. Fernando Alonso out, both Saubers out, my teammate as well. Isaac Hadjar is really struggling seemingly on the game season 1 till his stats get updated, of course, and Ollie Behrman is also out. Alright, well, SQ2 then. Remember when I said it was fully dry in sprint quali? Apparently I was lying. I wasn't really paying too much attention as I came into this qualifying session, and then just happened to glance back as I went to then advance the time to get to the end of the session to put a lap in, and saw that it was raining. So at the start of the session it was raining. I didn't realise. I've come out after, or later in the session, and put in a lap time that's 2.5 seconds off those at the top, because they went out first thing. And I didn't know it was going to rain, so I wasn't paying attention to the weather. It rained. So as I went to track, it was just starting to change. But I'm not the only one that's been caught out there. Lando is out in SQ2 as well. And Liam Lawson set a lap time on the intermediates too. And I was significantly off the pace. It was starting to rain at the beginning of the session and just getting heavier and heavier as the session went on, and my taking the big old sunshine logo in the main menu for golden didn't pay attention to the incremental weather as we progressed through the sprint qualifying, and as such I've shot myself in the foot and face at the same time. We will be starting the sprint Grand Prix or the sprint race in 16th after a great Q1 after that. So sprint race time in the full wet. I'll try not to waste it, Mark. The weather conditions were described as very wet, although it appears it is favourable to be on the intermediate tyre, albeit not by much, evidently. A few tenths. What's everyone else on? Everyone else is also on the intermediate tyre. Okay. It must be right on the cusp. Well, evidently it is right on the cusp, because if I tweet this, it shows that the wet tyre, over the course of 15 laps, the wet tyre is only 0.3 of a second slower. But intermediate tyre wear is less. So it's perhaps a little bit misleading that the wet tyre is slightly slower because it wears faster. If you could look after the wets, they might actually be quicker. But if everyone else is on the intermediate, I'll go on the intermediate as well. Fuel-wise, we've got 1.1 laps worth of extra fuel. I'll put it down to 1 lap and hope that that's okay. That would indicate that we'd need 3 laps for the full race. I'm sure we won't need that much. Sure we won't need that much fuel. I'm going to take some of it out. We're going to go with half a lap's worth of extra fuel here for... don't shoot yourself in the foot again, Ches. We're going to go with 0.8 laps worth of extra fuel here in the wet, where we should be saving more fuel than we are wasting it. I hope to move forward, because in the dry conditions we looked like we had some pace. But was that because others were even more set up for the wet than I am? And now, in the actual wet, we're going to be slow, like we were in Austria. One way to find out, let's go racing. It is very wet. We are sneaking and snaking our way around the circuit in the formation lap, or have done. And now, here into La Source, at the beginning of the Belgian Grand Prix, or Belgian Sprint at least, it is very much the same. That's a little bit of wing damage already, but we'll take that on the chin. I've got a warning for a collision with Alonso there. I don't know how fast or slow everyone else is going to be, but I know I don't have much grip. Holy, we went sideways there. Okay, 20th. And here comes my teammate at pace. Hello, sir. Where's the braking point? No idea. There-ish. Yeah, in you go, Zane. Can we make some time around people when they're fighting? I can maybe get a bit of a... No, there's no room. I have no idea what to expect from this. There's a lot of side-by-side here at the minute, including me and Isaac Hadjar, but Hadjar's backed out of it. So I looked to pinch a little bit towards the apex. No idea whether to tell whether I've got pace or not at the minute, because we've not even remotely gotten close to full pace running yet, because everyone's so close to each other. Maloney's well out of shape. He had to get out of the throttle, which forced myself and Isaac to get out of the throttle, and now through the second sector we are nose to tail, and we should see the field start to spread out a little bit. Now I'm anticipating my teammate not being great, so I'm going to try and get past him on the run towards the bus stop chicanes. Be wary of... I've got a lot of understeer there. Trying to be wary of traction at the rear. Use a lot of battery now. This is where we don't know whether we do or don't have the right amount of wing on or not. I'm still gaining on Maloney here, but gaining on Maloney isn't necessarily a good... stop! Isn't necessarily a good marker of whether we're actually gaining on everybody else or not. Obviously no DRS in these conditions. Trying to manage the throttle as best I can when trying to get on power. I'm going to go for the inside of Maloney here, because they're all going to concertina up through La Source. And we're past the teammate and back up into 20th. Right. Are we fast or are we not? Now's where we find out properly. Significantly out of the throttle. Through a rouge and over the top of Radion. Back on the battery. And with battery power gaining, come off the battery and still gaining. So I think just on my exits, I'm not very fast at the moment. Not got a lot of downforce here. You don't run much downforce in Spa anyway, but I think I'm struggling even more so. I think they might have put significantly more wing in than I have, and we might be in a bit of an Austria situation here, where actually, even though in Austria we purposefully undercooked it a bit, here I might have undercooked it a bit unintentionally. Hopefully we can regain enough battery over the course of the lap to remain competitive, and it looks like, for the time being, even though there's no DRS, there is still quite a bit of a train going on. Have to stay off the grass though, aren't I, really? I'm trying my best here. There's a yellow flag. Has someone binned it, or is someone just retiring? I think someone's just... No, someone's binned it, and it's Lance Stroll. See you, Lance. What happened to him? Let's have a quick look at the replay, shall we? Where's the Aston Martin? Is this you, sir? Is this number 18, or is this number 17? 14, sorry. That's 14. Where are you, Lance? Here? Oh, yeah, no. We're a bit further back, aren't we? No, he's just lost it. Got a snapper on, tried to correct, overcorrected, and then ended up in the gravel. And it's just pulling back onto the racing line now as I then sneak my way through. Thank you, Lance. Hopefully others will make similar mistakes as we progress forward and we can make some more overtakes. Deary me. Running out of harvesting very early in the lap though, which is not ideal considering the amount of battery I'm going to have to use. It's probably because the game is registering me as going slowly compared to where I should be, so it's harvesting more than it should, which is not ideal. So I might actually have to run in hot lap so that it harvests less. At least I think in hot lap it harvests less. We might actually, by using more battery, end up with more battery. I don't know, I'm going to have a play around with that.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for
Fuel
now.
is going up though
Good.
thus far. We put 0.8 laps worth of extra fuel in, and at the minute we're 0.84, so it's not necessarily a good gauge for the race, because I've no idea how that's going to translate, but it's not a bad gauge for these sorts of conditions, because we're gaining fuel, so I could significantly have underfueled a bit more, I think. We'll find out as the race goes on. But after 2 laps, the tyres are, well, on the right-hand side, significantly worn. 10% compared to 1 and 2% on the left-hand side. That is not that's not the ordinary. I think that may well have come from the side-by-side contact with Alonso on lap 1 on the way out of La Source. At the moment, though, we are managing well enough to hold our position. I do think we're going to be much more competitive in the dry. This sprint race is just about hanging on and trying to make some positions if we can, which we have done so far, but we're not even at Pouon yet, and I've very nearly used up all of my harvesting already, so we'll gauge that next lap. I'll put it into, there you go, round Pouon, we've run out of harvesting already. So next lap, I'll whack it in a hot lap and see if by going slightly faster, we harvest less, and actually my battery levels maintain themselves slightly higher. I don't know. It's going to be a bit of an experiment, an ongoing experiment here. But I'm at least keeping pace with those in front at the moment, which is what I wasn't able to do in Austria in the wet. Okay, battery experiment is that I'm still going to run out of harvesting around Pouon. But by running in hot lap, I am significantly closer to those in front when I haven't used my battery. So what I might do is run in medium around the middle sector, and then in hot lap down the Kemmel Straight and basically for the first sector, and then the run down to the bus stop chicane, because that actually has kept me closer to those in front. And then I won't use the battery at all. I'll just use my battery mode to try and stay competitive. It says it's Lance Stroll's all over the back of me. It's my exits from corners that are causing me some problems in straight lines at the minute, not any inherent lack of straight line speed. So Lance is actually thinking about having a go here, but he's going to back out of it. He's still concertinaing up in places. You can see how Max Verstappen has disappeared out front. And then there's a big gap from the set. Well, I can only presume that is Kimi Antonelli, really, can't I? Because I don't think George Russell would hold everybody up quite so badly. So I'm anticipating that that's Kimi Antonelli there. Right, so I'll run in hot lap down here. I'm just going to flick between battery modes then throughout the course of the lap. And we'll try and stay with those around us. Losing traction through a ruse like that is not going to gain me any time. And you can see how we're losing time down the straight because of it, but now we're starting to eke it back again as we're in hot lap. I just need to be very, very careful, concentrate very hard on my throttle application, my exits of corners, my entry to corners, and not losing the rear of the car mid-corner. And we might be able to make another position or two, but I don't think at the moment we're going to make it any farther than Ollie Behrman at this stage, potentially. I don't know how my tyre wear is holding up either compared to everyone else's. In practice, the tyre wear said it was going to be about 10% worse than expected, and that was on the soft tyre. So I'm hoping that tyre wear-wise we'll actually be quite competitive here. Another yellow flag as we enter this sector of the race. Is that someone else that's binned it? Potentially, but who? I don't know. Esteban Ocon is out. Now, has Ocon just retired for competitive reasons? Or has he binned it? No, his engine's gone. Ocon's engine's gone bang. Okay, so he's not spun and put it in a wall. His car has just gone, I've had enough, and he's out of the race. Fair enough. Sorry, Esteban. That's the end of you. Get a bit of a switch back here on Hulkenberg, maybe, if I can get the power down, which I evidently can't. Tried my best. We're still gaining fuel, as you can see on the right-hand side. 0.9 laps now. So, gaining fuel left, right and centre. Over 0.01 a lap at the moment. Close to 0.02 a lap, probably. Or closer to 0.02 a lap, probably, should I say. Right, let's try and stay with here. Stroll is right in my slipstream, though. But now we've used the battery to get away from him. Should be able to maintain the gap. More yellow flags in front. It's really kicking off today, isn't it? Red flag, in fact. Why is there a red flag? Is there a car? Oh, okay.
And let's get back into the pits.
So McLaren has binned it. I think he's still going. Got cars reversing on track. Deary me. I did slightly go up the inside of the car in front there, so I don't know whether...
Right, this is a good chance to change our strategy for the rest of the Grand Prix if we want to.
I don't know whether it'll actually give me that position. It shouldn't do, but it might do. And it now reckons that the full wet is the more appropriate tyre. I wonder whether everyone else will do the same. I can't tell. I can't check the race director, so I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing here by switching from the into to the wet. But we'll go to the wet, because that's what it advises. I can only go off the data I'm given. So, onto the wet tyre we go then, for a restart off the grid.
Like deja vu here.
Others run wets as well. Okay, good.
Get this start spot on. Come on.
And it didn't give me the position against Hulkenberg. We passed Alonso off the start. Could get up the inside of Hulkenberg too. I used my start the first time around to my advantage there, learning from it. And we've made a couple of positions. We're now running P15. That's gone well. That went significantly better than last time, didn't it? Oi, oi, oi. That didn't. Never mind, we're still in touch. We're still in touch. All right. Game on again then. Lap 8 of 15. At least it means I've got less wet weather running to do, because we've lost a couple of laps because of the red flag. And I'm not necessarily too sad about that, if I'm honest.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.0 seconds.
Do I? Yeah, why not? It's not worked, but it was worth a go. Had a look at the inside of Lawson. Is that a yellow flag hanging out over the wall there? There are yellow flags being waved by marshals there. Oh, and it's because Ollie Behrman's car has exploded. Both the Hasses blowing up here. Bortoletto gets the better of that. I think Hulkenberg got... I was going to say, I think Hulkenberg got caught out behind and stuck behind him. What's actually happened is Nico can't see anything going over the brow and has run straight into the back of the Haas. As he came over, imagine in the cockpit view, that was particularly blind with all of the smoke coming over the brow of the top of Radion there. Smoke to the left. I've come back. He literally can't see him. If he's not, it's behind the halo. So he's come up over the top here. I'll run it slowly, although it's not. It looks better in real time. You actually can see more of the car in slow-mo than you can in real time. I've obviously got to go slow and I've gotten out of shape behind the Alpine in front of me because they've all slowed up. Hulkenberg's then had to avoid me coming back on the circuit and run straight into the back of the slowing Haas. So that's both Hasses out of the race now, and a Sauber of Nico Hulkenberg, who's now just sat there. But because everyone's all concertinaed up here,
still looking good.
I don't think we're going to see any sort of VSC or safety car for that. Bortoletto's just mugged me, but we've gotten him back again. Well, I said I didn't earlier, before the first red flag, or before the red flag, I didn't think I'd be finishing any further ahead than Behrman. We're now ahead of Behrman because he's not even finishing. We're up to 14th, and well, now you'd say I don't see myself finishing any higher than Lawson because everyone else has disappeared down the road, haven't they? 6 laps to go, plus whatever's left of the one we're on.
Yellow flag.
Another yellow flag around here. It's all kicking off. Is it people spinning or is it people retiring? It's Antonelli's off the track. Antonelli's now lost it. These wet weather conditions are causing absolute chaos throughout the grid. This is Russell side by side with a McLaren, by the way, through the chicane, which is excellent. Racing from them both here. They're both soaring away at the wheel, as you can see, gaining grip, losing grip, gaining grip, losing grip in the wet conditions. Then Antonelli behind just spins it, floors the throttle as he's going round, and now has to recover the car and get himself back on circuit. These wet weather conditions are causing absolute meltdowns from so many different drivers. I was slow up O'Rouge and over the top of Radion. Bortoletto's got me here. We were gaining on Doohan. I'm going to try and hang out the inside and maintain the position, and we've done so. I was gaining on Doohan, closed it to under a second on the run to the bus stop the previous lap. But now that's kind of ruined any chance I had of making any more positions in this sprint race, I think. After a not very eventful first 5 laps, then there was a particularly eventful next 5 laps with retirements, crashes, red flags, spins, and then the final 5 laps have also passed without incident as per the first 5 laps. So rather than being a game of 2 halves, it's been a race of 3/3. And that's just the sprint though. I imagine it's not going to be quite so chaotic in the fully dry Grand Prix.
The radar suggests that this heavy rain will be with us for a while now.
Yes, that's fine. We've only got 2 laps to go. Will you steady? I'm probably only going to go backwards from here, if I go anywhere. But P13 is 3 positions higher than where we qualified, so I mean, admittedly, they've come about because of retirements or spins, but that's racing. You take what you get when you can get it. So I've gotten it, I'll take it, provided I can hold on to it, of course, with Bortoletto and now Fernando Alonso and Kimi Antonelli. Actually, has Kimi Antonelli fallen away? Antonelli might have fallen away. Thought it was Kimi. It might not have been Kimi Antonelli behind Bortoletto. I thought I glanced Antonelli there, but evidently it was the Aston Martin, because Antonelli's actually behind my teammate at the minute, right at the very back. 2 laps to go. Probably not going to be anything to show you other than me maybe getting overtaken at the end of this straight, either this lap or next lap. So hopefully I don't have to show you anything, or Chris doesn't have to show you anything, because it means I've held my position. I used a bit of battery, and I think I'm going to hold my position. So I think I'll see you at the checkered flag.
Caution, caution.
Never mind, there's a yellow flag. What happened? Who's done what? Someone spun, I think. Oh, Tsunoda. It's Tsunoda that spun. Yuki Tsunoda is round in this Red Bull. Same place as everybody else. Yep, same place as everybody else. Similar crest, similar to what Antonelli actually. Although he seemed to be coming on off the gravel there, didn't he? Yeah, he's coming. Oh, drove left and then drove to the right again, and then rejoined the racetrack just because the Alpine came through. So he kind of caught that at an awkward moment for Yuki. He's going to go defensive. We might be able to make another position around the outside here. I shall try. I'm drifting my way around, and Yuki's probably going to have the traction to no name. He is. He should have fought that a bit harder than he did. He's going to keep the position on the run down to Puon. Okay. Well, Yuki's lost positions, but not lost position to me. Well, just as I said, I don't think anything else is going to happen. There was another spin. Now Bortoletto's side by side with me as we come through the middle sector. I've got the inside line, and I'll keep the position. Right now, actually, Alonso's taken him now. They're fighting behind. Now I don't anticipate there being anything until the checkered flag, but evidently I might be wrong. Max has won the sprint race. We are still P13. So, overall, not necessarily how I would have envisaged coming about a half-decent finish, but we're going to get a decent finish here in the sprint. Yuki, in just a lap and a half, has obviously shown exactly how strong that Red Bull is in any condition, let alone these conditions, and he's now 2.5 seconds away from me. But I have now seen you at the checkered flag. What the point situation was like further up, I'm not sure, but we know that Max won. I'm not sure, I think it was Piastri that spun in the McLaren, but I couldn't quite see. When you get a red flag, you can't go to the replay, evidently with Lando getting driver of the day, one can presume that it was Oscar with the spin. But we'll have a quick glance here and see what the final results were. Yeah, Oscar still finished 6th, to be fair, if it was him that spun. But time now for, thankfully, as we did check the weather forecast, certainly fully dry qualifying and the race for the full Belgian Grand Prix. But that certainly had more entertainment in the 15 laps there in the wet sprint than I thought we were going to get. Managed to maintain deployment all the way to the bus stop chicane this time by managing my battery slightly differently on a qualifying lap. We'll see if it worked or not. And across the line we do a 44.4. Now I think that's particularly competitive here. It's first, right? We'll wait and see how things progress throughout the course of qualifying. We have been first in Q2 before, but I promise I'm on 102. First in Q1. Any shock exits? I see both McLarens, Ferraris, etc. there. Both Alpines are out. Pierre Gasly, 21st, is a surprise. Nico Hülkenberg dead last. His teammate through. Hajar out. My teammate out. And Behrman in the Haas. All right. Can I do that again? Unlikely. Now, intriguingly, only 8 other cars outside of myself have gone out to do a lap here in Q2. We'll rephrase, a second lap here in Q2. 7 drivers have elected to only do the one run. I don't know whether it's because they're trying to save tyres for the race or whether it's bugged a little bit, but a 44.1 from me there is good enough on this occasion for P4. And we are through to the 3rd round of qualifying here. Now, we are now, because it's a sprint weekend, in a position where we've used all of the softs we would have available to us for the race, I believe. But both McLarens are out here. Both McLarens, intriguingly, did do a second run as well. But Bortoleto, Ocon, Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell and Verstappen all didn't do another lap. 5 of them actually got through. So there wasn't that much time to be found, evidently, on a second run for everybody else. And both McLarens have felt the force of that because they're out. We're through. Now, depending on where I actually qualify in Q3 will determine as to whether I actually up the difficulty here for this Belgian Grand Prix from 102 to 103. I probably wouldn't go as far as 104 because I wouldn't want to risk just falling backwards and not enjoying myself at all. But at the moment, I am slightly concerned that I might be a little bit too quick around Spa. And that's definitely not something I thought I was going to encounter today. Right, now, if all goes according to plan, maybe we'll include this whole Q3 lap. I have tried that at least once earlier this season when I've made it through to Q3, and then I've absolutely balked it and asked Chris not to put the lap in. But I'm going to try and nail a Q3 lap here and see if we can perhaps come up with something rather special. Those at the front are in the mid 43s. We obviously did a 44.1 in Q2, which is our fastest lap so far. We have set a purple sector 1 every time I've been out on track thus far, so don't read too much into that. Only 4 other cars, I think, out on circuit with me here. The 2 Mercedes, the Red Bull, and the RB. So clearly the other drivers were happy with their first runs. Qualifying is now complete. The checker flag is flying. It's not been a bad lap. I don't feel like it's been a particularly spectacular lap, but we're apparently still 4 tenths up on Yuki Tsunoda in P6 through the first 2 sectors. So we might be on for something special here. Just glancing down at my deployment there and completely missed the apex for Blanchimont. Oh, deep in the bus stop. Deep in the bus stop. Have I thrown it away? Quick to the line and a 44-1 again. More time in that because I've definitely messed up there a couple of times, but 5th. We qualify 5th for the Belgian Grand Prix. I am in 2 minds as to whether to up the difficulty or not here, because we didn't up the difficulty in Canada. I'm 6/10 off pole. We didn't up the difficulty in Canada, and as a result, we didn't necessarily challenge for a podium. Everybody else in front of us just kind of disappeared. So I'm borderline leaning towards leaving it where it is, and just was using this as the marker for whether we do increase the difficulty next year or not, which is probably the better thing to do. I'm going to start 5th. I'm going to leave it at 102. And this will be the true test of whether our race pace is anywhere near to our quali pace at this stage with the upgrades we've made to the car, or whether still the car is genuinely a pile of shite compared to everybody else when it's full-on race fuel. From P5, we will go racing in Belgium. And I don't need to show you the grid, because you've already seen it. There may well actually be some penalties for other drivers with all of the retirements from the sprint race, although none of them will have qualified in front of us. Verstappen from Leclerc, as we saw. I'm presuming I'm still going to be P5, and indeed I am. But I am genuinely intrigued to see if there's going to be any not retirements, any penalties for those further down. Nobody in the top 10 with penalties at all. Still surprised that both McLarens went out in Q2. Maybe they've set up slightly differently for the race, and as a result it's compromised their qualifying pace, but they will be able to go faster in the race. I don't know. Both Hasses then taking penalties from their retirements in the Grand Prix, in the sprint, sorry. So we will hope to do what we can here.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I envisaged it being a hard medium or a medium hard 1-stop, to be fair. And I would lean towards going hard tyre first. But I don't know whether with everybody else around me being on mediums. To be fair, let's try and use that to our advantage. Let's try and stick with the medium runners using DRS, and then go that little bit further on the hard tyre, and then try and box for mediums and make it to the end. It's given me 1.6 laps worth of extra fuel. I'm actually quite low on confidence that that will be enough. So I'm going to put 1.8 laps worth of fuel in and hope that that's enough. We can save fuel in people's DRS if we need to at any point during the race. But I think that 1-stop, hard to medium, is going to be our fastest way to the end. I will, just out of curiosity, see what a medium hard does. Let me change that to softs. We can do. It won't let me change that to mediums at all. Intriguing. Will it let me do anything to this one? No. So I have to run the hard tyre first. Seemingly I have to run the hard tyre first. That's intriguing. Not sure what's going on. Won't let me start on the soft tyre at all. So I'm having to go hard medium. That's weird, because everyone else is able to start on the medium tyre. Well, let me put mediums in there, and then... Yeah, it won't let me... I'm confused. Regardless, I guess I'm going hard medium then. It might be something that I'm not fully understanding there, and this is where live chat would normally come in handy and tell me something that I've missed somewhere along the line. But, as I say, recording this one off stream, so I'm on my own now. I don't have my race engineers with me. From P5 made for turn 1, which might be a little bit problematic.
Okay,
but with less
incredible
cars in
marking
front of
there.
me
Nice
to
one.
potentially
That's gonna
turn
give you the
across
edge.
me,
You can get good launch
then
as the race
maybe
starts.
it's not quite so much of a drawback starting in 5th as it would be 15th. Lights go out. Charles Leclerc's with a terrible start. We're past the Ferrari. I'm up the inside of George Russell. I'm trying to box him in a little bit. I'm up the inside of Lewis Hamilton as well. Wheel to wheel contact there between myself and the Ferrari as I just couldn't get the car stopped on colder, hard tyres. But the slipstream's pretty strong. The slipstream's pretty strong indeed there. I'm not going to use any battery here. How are we out of the slipstream? Here comes George. We're going to be 3 wide. Are we 3 wide or is he backing out? He's backing out of it. I've gone a bit deeper trying to push Hamilton as close to the line as I can. Russell is also through. We've gone from 5th to 2nd at the beginning of the Belgian Grand Prix thanks to Charles Leclerc's disastrously woeful start. Max has gone. Well and truly gone. 2 seconds down the road already. Now we know that we're going to be slower compared to those medium tired runners on these hards initially. But whilst the others behind are side by side and fighting, I'm just going to take my advantage and try and disappear down the road. I'm not taking this as a sign that I should have gone up to 103 difficulty here yet. There is still a long way to go. And Max is 2.5 seconds down the road, and I've not really done that much fighting, to be honest. So I have a funny feeling I am going to get swamped at some point in the not too distant future. But whilst I have a gap of some description, I'm going to utilise it, trying to build it with some battery here to get it over a second so we're not drawn back towards them through the DRS zone, because DRS will be enabled, of course, at the end of the first lap. I have a funny feeling that it doesn't matter what I do, really, through the bus stop and La Source. I'm not going to be fast enough to keep them behind me by more than a second, and rather evidently that is the case. So I'm not going to waste DRS on the run down to Eau Rouge. I'm going to use it to defend instead when we get onto the Kemmel Straight. I've got 7.5 tenths in hand, maybe that's 6.5 tenths. Obviously didn't get as good an exit out of the source as they did, but gaining over the top of Eau Rouge. How are we in a straight line here whilst they've got DRS? Not bad. I'm running particularly low wings here, it has to be said. Like, really low wings. Lower than I've ever run before, I think, in Belgium. So that should help us with our straight line speed. But throughout the course of the middle sector, I am going to be very poor. And I'm on a hard tyre compound as well. So it's only a matter of time before I start to lose positions. But I tell you what,
and burn off some of this energy.
it's been an unbelievable qualifying and it's been an unbelievable start here. And there is my lack of downforce showing itself round Pouhon. But it has genuinely been an unbelievable start here to this Belgian Grand Prix. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish, said the great Murray Walker. And we are a long way from finishing yet. Just having a look up the inside of me here at the source. I'm actually going to try and play a little bit of DRS chicken with him here. Or play a few games, let him take the position at the source, then try and take it back. That said, here comes George Russell, side by side, through Eau Rouge and Radion. That's ridiculous. No contact made, but the DRS will help here. He's got the slipstream of Hamilton as well, but I'm going to try and box him in here and try and maintain position if I can. The old Rosberg and Hamilton shut off through the chicane. Well, Lewis mugged me into La Source with his DRS, but I didn't get mugged by George. I'm anticipating now losing DRS off the back of Lewis Hamilton throughout the course of the rest of the lap, although I will try with my battery to stay within him. Or within it of him. But I don't know as I'm going to be that lucky, really. Next 4 corners will make a big determining factor as to whether we can or not. I'm poor through that right-hander, which leaves me just slow onto the straight. Lost 2 tenths, really. But using battery, we're going to be back within DRS of Lewis. I will fight this as long as I possibly can, this high up the order. Max Verstappen is well and truly gone, though. Congratulations on another race victory, Max. Unless there's some sort of safety car or red flag scenario, he's not losing this race victory at all. Set the fastest lap every lap, and probably will continue to do so.
Gap to your teammate behind, 13.
He's doing that without
seconds.
DRS as well. I'm out of DRS range of Lewis. Lewis is gone. We do have to factor in the tyre compound to this as well, so I am going to do that. I'm not going to get too disheartened yet. We do end up taking a Rouge and Radeon quicker than the Ferrari. It's purely because of my wings, but it just means that I'm so slow in the middle sector, they end up extending on me again. It's the trade-off, isn't it? You either go for competitiveness in a straight line or competitiveness around a whole lap with extra downforce. And for me, here, in this car, I need the low downforce. And then I just need to get the elbows out. But we've got a gap back to Antonelli, to be fair. You look, Antonelli in 6th, and then a gap back to one of the McLarens that's already made his way up to 7th. The other McLaren, actually, I think has lost positions. And is a long way down. I might be losing P3 soon. George will be past me in the not too distant future. Then will Charles Leclerc also. DRS and some battery for George. 10% wear on the inside front right. After 4 laps. 2.5% a lap. Want me to box on 23. That's a very worn front right tyre. Again, myself and George side by side through Eau Rouge and over the top of Radeon. I just hold it this time, but here comes the DRS zone. So goodbye George, goodbye Charles. Not much I can do here. I might have great straight line speed, but when they've got DRS as well, there's not really much I can do about it. And then because I'm running such low downforce, I am struggling to stop it in the braking zones. George is through. Gap back to Antonelli's 1.8 though. We'll still be decent inside the top 5 if we can keep Antonelli out of DRS range. 1.3 seconds the gap at the moment between Charles and that Mercedes. Gonna have DRS on George here. Concentrated very hard on making sure I was decent through La Source and out of La Source. And we're with the Mercedes, and look at the difference in a straight line. This is what having low wings can do for you at tracks like this. I don't yet know whether it's a good idea for me to try and take George or just stay behind him and just utilise the DRS to help drag me further away from Antonelli. I don't necessarily want to fight with George and end up bringing the other Mercedes into this battle. We've got a 2-second gap between Charles and said second Mercedes at the minute, as I just decided to do a little bit of skateboarding there apparently. Okay, well, there goes that plan then. Hello Antonelli, how are you? Lando Norris up to 7th now. That's just cost me basically 2.5 seconds. Sick. Well done, Ches. You're an absolute don, mate. Okay, the game has changed. I shall try and get myself back to DRS range of Leclerc if I can, to give myself some sort of chance of recovering from that mistake. Used a lot of battery. We are going to get back within DRS range of the Ferrari here. These low wings are my saving grace right now. It's probably causing me heightened tyre wear, because I'm sliding around, but
The car ahead is a second a lap faster than you.
it's because I just absolutely naffed up the previous lap. But not bad through La Source though, really not bad through La Source. Well, I've kept myself with Leclerc. George is gone. I have brought Antonelli and Norris into play, but I'm still with Leclerc here. It's not the worst thing in the world that's just happened. It's not great. I've thrown away a
Yellow flag.
P4. Yellow flag in front. Max Verstappen might have binned it, or he's retiring. What's happening to the Red Bull? Let's find out. Where's the TV view? Does his engine go pop, or has he had an issue at Le Combe? He's just had an issue at Le Comp. So many problems for drivers at the chicane so far this weekend. This one's in the dry, and it's Max Verstappen that's made it as well. On his own, just absolutely dropped it. Now, in previous games, you might see Max Verstappen stay there and not move at all until absolutely every car has gone past. Will he try and get himself back on track, or is he just going to sit there and wait? He's on his way back to the track. That's an improvement on previous years, but is he just going to sit by the side of the track, or is he going to get himself back running again? He's gotten himself back running again, and I think he might have screwed over a couple of other drivers in the process. Let's have a quick look from the camera here. So, looking back as drivers come through, there's the McLaren, there's the gap that Max is going to try and get back into. No, he's held for his teammate, and the RB, no, he is waiting for other drivers. Is he going to go now? He's starting to go now. Oh, I got thrown by Tsunoda's Red Bull dot coming through. So,
Okay,
safety car deployed.
Safety car's been...
Okay, I think people might actually have crashed into him. Let's have a look. Or is safety car deployed? No, safety car's deployed just because he sat there doing nothing. Just rejoin the track, Max, for Christ's sake! We're about to go green again. Lewis is now the default safety car.
Okay, recommend staying out during this safety car. Our tyres are still good, and it's not
bit late to tell me
track
that.
Position. Stay out.
Yeah, and we would have come in between now or before now if we were going to box. So Lewis is gonna gun it here. This has not worked for us. We actually didn't need the safety car. Although Antonelli's had a terrible restart. It's just brought more of the cars behind us closer to us, which is not what we needed. But Antonelli wasn't really on the ball there, and we may well be able to open up a bit of a gap again. Although, now we've got the run down the straight. I don't know whether Antonelli's not going to close that gap again. No, it's growing still. I've not used any battery yet, or not used any overtake button yet. Anyway, behind Leclerc here, and if I can push him very defensive, we might be able to take the corner whilst losing minimal time. And still maintain a bit of a gap to Antonelli, who's actually now been overtaken by Yuki Tsunoda. So Antonelli was under pressure himself after a slow getaway. We're back up into a podium position and chasing after George Russell once more. Just remind me to stay off the outside curve there on the way into No Name moving forward.
Okay to use your overtake button.
Now, can we keep a DRS gap to Tsunoda and be back in the position we were prior to the safety car, in that we had a bit of a safety buffer there to hopefully help us keep position. At the minute, I don't know as it's really the difficulty that's keeping me where I am, more the setup. But that might well also tie into the difficulty, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know in the comment section how you feel about watching my competitiveness here thus far, and whether you think it is or isn't worthy of upping it a tick or two for next season here at Spa, where obviously we should be more competitive by the time we get there, with the car significantly upgraded. So I think next year I will up the difficulty at Spa potentially, regardless.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled
unless, of course, we've already upgraded it by the time we get there, which we may well have done. DRS online, I'm out of DRS range of George Russell for sure, but Yuki Tsunoda is out of DRS range of Charles Leclerc for sure. Charles is going to come right up behind me here through Aruz and then over Radion. Charlie's going to get me. I'm not going to fight it too hard. There's no point. It would just be a waste of battery and race time. Let him go, and we have a comfortable gap as they're going side by side behind, as well as you can see. Charles didn't quite get himself fully back to the racing line there, so it's going to cost us a little bit of time here. I've cut the corner. But we still got a decent gap behind. Well, before it would have been P5 with Max still in the running, but Max is now significantly down the order. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he still finds himself close to a podium by the end of the Grand Prix, such is the pace in that Red Bull. Because of that safety car, it does mean that we stand the opportunity of extending this hard tyre stint a little bit and having faster medium tyres for our final stint. Obviously, it will depend on what the race scenario is like at the time as to whether I do or don't extend. But the fact that there was a safety car for some of these medium-tyred runners, or for all of the medium-tyred runners, means that they haven't been able to fully utilise the pace of that medium tyre, I'm actually not going to overtake here. I didn't expect him to go quite so defensive. When they're not actually able to fully utilise the pace of this medium tyre throughout the whole of its stint because we spent 2 laps behind a safety car. Whereas I will get hopefully we will get our full stint behind the safety car on the medium, or full stint without a safety car, should I say, on the medium tyre. So we'll be able to make the most of that set, whereas these guys will be on the hard tyre by that point, which will be slower. 2.5 seconds back to Tsunoda. Now that Yuki is past Kimi, it's probably going to be a case that Yuki closes on us because that Red Bull is a great car for both drivers in the game rather than just the one in real life. And he might drag Kimi with him unless Kimi comes under pressure from behind again, which hopefully he does, because obviously Antonelli doesn't have that much pace in the game right now. He is quicker in race pace than he is in quali, and we've given him that credit previously. And the DRS is very powerful here, but even for me with the low downforce, the slipstream is powerful, as you can quite clearly see closing on Charles Leclerc. We've set up perfectly for this race. We are beautifully positioned. Lewis Hamilton's not getting miles away down the road either, if we're being completely honest. And when we're running the medium tyre at the end of the race, might we be in position for a shock podium all-race win here in Belgium? Maybe. If we do get that, I'm certainly upping the difficulty. We won't replicate it in Hungary next time out, that's for sure, because that's a very high downforce circuit where I will certainly be weaker to the AI through the corners. But here, because it's such low downforce, the benefit that they have in a straight line is negated. So I'm able to be more competitive in a straight, and we're more competitive in the corners anyway at the moment, just because of the way that the AI is set up. So it's kind of, before we've had the perfect storm for a negative race, now we've got the perfect storm for a fantastic Grand Prix. I think their medium tyres are starting to go, you know. The gap to George is closed. The gap behind is still growing. And I could really make a good attempt at trying to overtake Charles Leclerc here and maybe get after George. We're well past Charles.
Great manoeuvre. You made it look so easy.
That's because it kind of was with the DRS and ERS, Mark. We're only 4 seconds off the lead here. 13.5 laps into a Belgian Grand Prix. We've officially dropped Charles Leclerc. The medium tyre is not the right one to be on at the minute. Now, this would have been the case on lap 14, not lap 16, without the safety car. But I wouldn't have been as close without the safety car, I don't think. Although we might have been, considering it was only really the cars behind that had the big gaps. But still, as we say, this is going to switch around at the end of the race, and it's going to be the other way around. And they're going to be ending the race stronger as I'm getting weaker. Now, the default strategy here was for me to stop 23, which means we'd be doing 21 laps on the medium tyre. So one anticipates that these medium runners will stop on lap 21-ish and go to lap 23 on their hard tyres. Meaning there's only really a 2-lap offset between the pit stops. But seeing how poorly these medium tyres are lasting is giving me the impetus and the idea to, or reinforcing the idea, to go that bit further on these hards. I might well go to lap 25 or 26 if I can, to ensure that we avoid as much of this medium tyre drop-off as possible. We'll gauge where we'll come out when everyone else is boxed, and we'll see via the MFD and the minimap where it thinks will get released when we box. At the moment it says I'll come out 17th. Max is already back up to 11th after dropping to 18th, so he's going to be a serious contender for a race podium still, as we're not even at the halfway point of this race yet. It's not over yet at all for Max Verstappen. But crucially, it's not over yet for me either. I can't believe this is happening in the one race I record off stream.
Okay.
Drivers in the box, but were they on the soft tyre? They were. The soft-tyred runners have boxed now.
Lane's coming in for his stop now.
That might be why Max has gained some positions, to be fair, then, because of those boxes. So maybe Max isn't in as strong a position for a return to the front end of the field as possible. Although, it's Max, so don't rule anything out. Whilst we've dropped Charles by 3 seconds, I'm only like half a second closer to George at the minute, and I'm only 0.2 of a second closer to Lewis. So this is more Charles Leclerc being more uncompetitive than the other two as well. It's more on Charles Leclerc here than it is everybody. It's not to say that I'm not getting closer to those in front, but they have more pace than Charles does here at Spa this weekend thus far. George is in on lap 17. Lap 17, George boxes. That's very early. That's really early to switch to a hard tyre. Surely he's not two-stopping.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 42.
If he goes to the softs next, he definitely is two-stopping. And he has! George Russell is two-stopping. I don't think that's the play, George. I know the undercut here is worth quite a bit, but is it worth that much? The soft using 3-stop for us was supposedly quite a few seconds slower than the 2-stop in our pre-race strategy meeting. We've gained another second on Charles Leclerc, whilst only gaining another 1/10.5 on Lewis Hamilton. Charles just isn't competitive here in Belgium for whatever reason, whether he's running damage or he's just not set up the same way that Lewis is, I don't know. But we're in a podium fight. We're absolutely in a podium fight. We'll see how things go in Hungary, because that will be a completely different type of circuit. In fact, it might even be Zandvoort next, rather than Hungary. I think it may well be a trip to the beach before we go to Budapest. So we'll gauge the performances at a couple of other tracks before we make any quick-fire decisions to change the difficulty. But if we're like this again in Zandvoort, I may well up to 103 sooner rather than later. I don't want to. I want a full proper journey here in the save. I don't mind the occasional freak result like we've gotten, but this is perhaps too much of a freak result at this stage. So I'm contemplating making it more difficult for myself to elongate the journey and the time it's going to take us to get to the very front end. Alonso is out, but looks like he's just pulled over. Looks like he's just pulled over. He's not done anything other than just have an engine blow up on him around Blanchimont. So no safety car there. It's not going to change our race at all. We'll just keep going. I'm really surprised George is two-stopping. That's a big shot. We'll see if it works for him. I doubt it, because he'll have a lot of traffic to get through. I don't even know where he's come out. Right behind an RB there that he's now on his way past on the Kemmel Straight. If he can make the most of those soft tyres, he might be able to bring himself back into contention, but I don't think he will, you know. Lewis has not boxed.
The car in front. Try to keep up this momentum.
But Charles has. So they're actually prioritising the second car here at Ferrari. Tsunoda's also in. Norris has stayed out. Sainz obviously is on hard tyres from the start alongside myself, so he's stayed out as well. And there's Russell, 15.9 seconds back on his charge to try and make that two-stop work. So Lewis will be in at the end of this lap. I think they should have done it the other way around to try and give Lewis the best chance of winning as opposed to Leclerc the best chance of closing up. At this moment in time, I think Ferrari have, well, been Ferrari, but we'll wait and see. Maybe they've got some sort of genius strategy that I just can't foresee at the moment. So Lewis is going to be in now, of that I'm certain. And there we go. So we are taking over the lead of this Belgian Grand Prix. I was contemplating going to lap 25.
Push now.
But I might do 24. Just to, I don't know. Basically, my mediums are going to get this worn. So surely I would be faster with mediums at 44 and 45% worn than I would be with hards at 44 and 45% worn. But my hards are this worn with having spent 2 laps behind a safety car. So the mediums are surely going to get even more worn than that. So maybe I am better off going to lap 25 rather than 24. I don't know. I don't want to Ferrari myself. Sainz is in. As expected, Carlos Sainz is stopping on the pre-race expected lap 23. So when we box, we will come out 4th. In front of Nico Hülkenberg. And then we go to the end. That would, I believe, with Norris also, I think, running a 2-stop. No, Lando Norris has gone hard medium and he's stopped already. When did he stop? Oh, lap 7? So he stopped under the safety car? Lando stopped under the safety car to switch to me, so he's got another stop. So after the stop, we'll be running a net P2 if I come out in front of Leclerc, which it says I will do. Leclerc's just taken Hülkenberg there. So because we have that gap, and now Leclerc's got some free air in front of him, it definitely does make sense to box now and not wait another lap and let Leclerc get more of an undercut. I need a clean stop, please, gents. I need a clean stop. Keep your fingers crossed, everybody. Charles Leclerc dropped it from 23.5 to 22.8 that lap, so they are getting a massive undercut. But it is really, really strong here, the undercut.
Right, let's go, come on. Perfect job.
Front 3 have gone through.
Mate. Looks like a nice stop
we take this corner rather than La Source. There's Lewis. And we have indeed come out ahead of Leclerc. By how much? About 5 seconds. Now then. Well, make that 4.3 seconds. What's faster? Their new hards on their supposedly better car, or my new mediums on my supposedly worse car? We're only 4 seconds behind bloody George. Your 2-stop, mate, is absolutely horrific. I keep taking the piss out of Ferrari strategically, but it's Mercedes that have dropped the ball here today with George Russell. They're throwing away a podium, I think. We've caught George Russell, the two of us. Myself and Lewis are right behind the Mercedes now. It won't be that long for the box, I don't imagine. At this stage of the race, on those soft tyres, he's got no pace whatsoever now. He was gaining on us when we were on our very worn hards, but we've just chomped away at the time on him with these fresh mediums and Lewis on his fresh hards. George is really slow. And he's significantly compromising Lewis Hamilton here and has brought us into play to try and maybe take the lead.
Overtake button a bit more.
Once George and Lando have boxed. I mean, Lando might try and take the mediums to the end of the race, but I'm sure they'll blow up on him if he does. George and Lewis fighting hard here. Might try and take advantage of this. Get a bit of a switch back. Just haven't got the traction out the corner. Lewis is away. George is away. We'll get George down the Kenmore Straight, that's for sure. Might even get him before bloody Eau Rouge at this rate because he's so slow around the corners. A little switchback, maybe we will. We absolutely will get him before Eau Rouge. That's what the fresh tyres do for you. But look how in contention he is because of the slipstream. But we will have DRS off Lewis here, who's less than 3 seconds away from Lando. And George just can't live with us. Slipstream or no slipstream. Soft tyre or no soft tyre. He's gone. Bye, George. We're fighting for the win. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fighting for the win of this Spanish Grand Prix. Not since Pasta Maldonado in Spain in 2012 or Esteban Ocon in Hungary under, to be fair, rather more extraordinary circumstances have we seen potentially a more shock victory. Got the run on Lewis into the chicane, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to bide my time and wait. Kemmel Straight's where I want it, so I can utilise these medium tyres in the middle sector. Where Lewis looks like he's going to get DRS on bloody Lando now. Georgie's in.
Okay, you're catching
fastest lap of the race from us.
We need to get to the end of the race.
George Russell's boxing to go to the end, and he's only got a full lap. Only got a full lap advantage on us, and he's going to the hard tyre. Terrible from Mercedes. Absolutely woeful. Now Carlos Sainz has just taken my fastest lap away from me. He too went hard to medium. Excuse me, Lewis, if you don't mind. I want the net lead of this race. It might not be the net lead if Lando's really genuinely going to try and take the medium tyres as far as we think he might, but let's ask. Let's find out.
Time, last lap,
I mean, he's so slow, surely he's not.
0.6. Less than a second separates you. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 20
laps old already.
We think they've got one more stop.
We are in the net lead of this Grand Prix.
Around 1.4 seconds a lap.
I am going to take Lando here because I'm probably going to lose more time sitting behind him through the bus stop and La Source than I would do overtaking him and not having DRS. That's Lando dealt with. I've got DRS here, to be fair, because I was behind him through the detection point. That will gain me a few crucial tenths. And if I can just have a decent exit of La Source, which, to be fair, we have done, we can stretch. Lewis will have him. Certainly, although he will have DRS on me, so it might not be that straightforward. Gap's less than a tenth. Lewis is going to have him. This is the time to make the most of it. We need to now utilise this medium tyre as best as we possibly can to try and grow a gap between myself and Lewis as my teammate's in the box again. Keep Lewis out of DRS range as long as possible.
Zane is in the pits.
And then we find out whether the hard medium or the medium hard was the better strategy. Who's going to have the more pace at the end of the race to take the better position? Lando's keeping him behind him. Norris, you beast! Lando Norris might be significantly contributing alongside everything else to Chesnoid Racing F1 team getting its first Grand Prix victory here today in Belgium. It's not very often it's this sunny in the Ardennes Forest, and we are certainly seeing the shine on ourselves here. No dampened spirits like in Great Britain. We're off. Get me into that distance. You won't see me through the tree line for a little while, Mr. Hamilton. Norris just boxed at the end of lap 29. So I have a 4.2 second currently gap to Lewis Hamilton. But continually, for the remainder of the race now, the next 15 laps, he will have a tyre advantage. It's me, my low wings and my battery versus Lewis Hamilton for
still looking good.
A win in Spa. Someone's retiring. It's a Mercedes, I think. It's a Mercedes. It's at the chicane. In fact, I was going to say that sounds like a very, very poorly engine. A very poorly engine. That is Kimi Antonelli out of the race. We are now lap 35. You've probably not seen anything for a few laps.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking
And you
good.
will notice the gap's top left. At the moment, they're still growing considerably by like half a second a lap. I don't see a scenario with 9.5 laps to go where we don't win this race. Lando's on softs, but they've got still such a long way to go. 9 seconds to gap to Lewis. His teammate's only 2.5 seconds behind him. Tsunoda's P4 now. Stop looking at the delta. 2 seconds behind him. Max Verstappen's still considerably a long way down, actually. I expected Max to recover significantly better than he has done. It's not going to change anything for the World Championship or his title efforts. He's still going to win the championship by a long, long, long way. But him binning it has won us this Grand Prix. Because without him in the gravel and without him not rejoining until the very last car or the safety car, as a result, we wouldn't be where we are. So thank you, Max. At least I think thank you, Max. 9 laps to go. There's still about a 2-second gap between Yuki and Charles. Charles is now within DRS range of his Ferrari teammate Lewis Hamilton. Will there be team orders at the Scuderia? Will Leclerc be let through as he's clearly the faster driver? Or will they be left to fight it out and risk potentially losing one of the cars off the podium to Yuki Tsunoda, or maybe both if they have a coming together? 7/10 the gap as they come through Eau Rouge and over Radion. Don't know if 7/10 is in the same machinery enough for Charles Leclerc to be able to get himself past, but with DRS and ERS, if he's got that sort of advantage, he might be able to have a go. They are side by side, and Charles does not have a go. He sits behind Lewis as they head into Le Combe chicane. Fair enough. 12.5 seconds though, the gap behind, with 3.5 laps to go. Barring the most bottling of bottlers, which has been known to be me in the past, we're winning this Belgian Grand Prix. Leclerc has passed Hamilton this time around on lap 42 of 44. The Ferraris have switched position, but not through team orders, through Leclerc just being the faster driver. Yuki's not quite in DRS range yet of Lewis as well, so it looks likely that they might still get 2 cars on the podium, Ferrari. But Tsunoda is loitering if any mistakes are made. Norris is not really making any inroads on those softs. George behind him is nowhere. Max Verstappen has lost the victory today by binning it. Mercedes, of course, cost George Russell a podium through strategy, and Lando has lost his race victory, or certainly a challenge for a strong podium finish at the very least, thrown away by a 2-stop strategy as well. It was a 1-stop strategy race. It was a medium-hard, not hard-medium race. 2 laps to go. Charles is closing quite considerably by like 7 or 8/10 this lap, but it's too little too late. Ordinarily at the end of a Grand Prix, I start my commentary piece, if it's not at the beginning of the final lap, it's when the leader crosses the line, and then I commentate it home from there. Well, on this occasion, on nearly 60% worn tyres, I'm the leader crossing the line. And I'm not going to start a commentary piece after I've taken the checkered flag for my maiden victory. Thank you very much. Chesnoid Racing are going to win in Spa. An historic day for this Formula 1 team.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
Not quite as jubilant a radio message as I might have imagined. Lando Norris gets driver of the day again, as he did in the sprint. I think I deserve that, don't you? For the first time, we get to see Victor Martin step on a podium at all, let alone the top step. Yuki made it to 3rd. Lewis Hamilton was taken by Yuki Tsunoda on the final lap. That may well have happened whilst I was mid-commentary and I didn't notice it.
Great stuff indeed.
But Yuki Tsunoda is going to step on the podium alongside Charles Leclerc and myself. And I'll keep this going as one continuous highlight so that I can show you when we get back to the menus that absolutely I did not, I haven't, it's so suspicious, isn't it? And I can freely admit that the one race I don't do on camera is the race we win. But I assure you, and I will prove to you with this one continual highlight, please editor Chris, that we absolutely have won this Grand Prix at 102 difficulty. So moving forward for next season, we will absolutely up the difficulty here if we haven't already upped it significantly already. So actually, fuel... I'm just going to update this in the background as well whilst we do it. So fuel was fine in the end. We actually gained fuel even after the safety car. So gained fuel despite safety car is what I'll put.
Very soon.
So we could underfuel here next season if we like. I'll put up difficulty if needed for sure there for that one. But here we go then. Continuing on, Charles Leclerc finished second in the Grand Prix, but overall takes joint first in the amount of points won over the course of the weekend. But there you go. Martin, Leclerc, Tsunoda from Hamilton by 25 milliseconds. 25 milliseconds. I feel like I actually kind of need to see that across the line for a thumbnail. Or Max off the track. Let me just... all the way to lap 45. I can't remember what lap it was that Max binned it, to be completely honest. But let's have a look at this. Over the line between Yuki and Lewis. Quite surreal, to be honest. I didn't anticipate doing this at the end. I didn't think that this continual highlight was going to be this long, but to get it in and to ensure that I show you that, yes, definitely I did not change the difficulty. Where did it happen? On the run down to the bus stop, presumably then. Lewis has lost the podium on the run to the bus stop chicane, and Yuki Tsunoda is going to take him here under braking. No, it's going to happen to the line! As Charles Leclerc takes the flag, Yuki on the run to the line with the... Lewis was first across the line. Lewis was first across the line. How has Yuki got on the bloody podium then? What? It says... Has he got a... There's Leclerc. It's saying Tsunoda's third here on the timing tower, but Hamilton's the more forward car. Well, there's a bug for you. What? All right, no thumbnail there then. What was that about? I'm glad I looked at the replay now. There's a bug. I don't understand how that's happened. Well, I apparently used all of my... we've won the rivalry against Sauber. That's going to significantly boost our fan... Oh! Significantly boost our fan sentiment indeed! Up to level 3. More sponsors on the car. The livery's going to get to change as well. Huge! This has been an unbelievable race weekend. Still one continuous highlight here, so apologies if the video is absurdly long as a result. There wasn't much happening in the final 15 laps of the race, but there was a sprint race, so I've no idea how long this is going to be ultimately by the time we get there. But to confirm for you, start, settings, difficulty, please say 102. 102! I did do it at 102. Seeking sponsorship, we've got... Oh, it's time to start thinking about our sponsorship opportunities for next season. I quite like Zenon's badge, actually. That's what we've got now for Seren as the level that we've gotten it to. But ultimately, I think I'm going to go for Zenon because that's going to look better on the car. I'm going to go for Zenon next season as a... Have we got other counter offers? Oh, Seren of... So I can ask them for more money. Higher signing payout, more favourable contract. Just complete a full season. This is a great new mechanic, but I think what I'm actually going to do is actually sign with Zenon. We'll select them as our title sponsor for I presume that's for next season and not for now.
Relevant paperwork sorted.
So that won't be now. That will be next season, right? I presume. Let's have a quick look, just to double check. Race gear. Is it now or next season? It's next season. Okay, good. I was gonna say that would be really weird if it updated it. I'm surprised that you're asked to do that this early on. Well, you guys did ask actually, as I a podium celebration. Absolutely. Or hang on. Remove. What's the victory celebration? We don't get title sponsor loyalty. Why do we not get title sponsor loyalty? Well, I'll do that one. It costs more to have a podium celebration than the victory celebration. We'll go for the secondary sponsor thing now then, rather than that. You guys did ask that I do leave this sort of stuff, or we do leave this sort of stuff in the video at the end as well, with regards to all of the off-track stuff, so I'm quite happy to do that. Just means obviously you guys get slightly longer videos. Boosting fan recognition, title sponsor loyalty grows. We did it. That's with regards the beating the rivalry, and top of the step. Thrilled to announce that one of our drivers secured a victory this weekend. I know, I was on a bloody did it, mate. Owner training. We've gotten 1 point to go with this. Again, I'm thinking money for second drivers, although this is not, none of them are money related, none of them are financial related. 10% more fan rating from your team stats, 25% more resource points, while spending is between, well, we're not going to get that high on the bloody cost cap. Increase the speed at which you build loyalty with your title sponsor. Well, that could come in handy. Spending that counts towards the cap counts for 10% less. Let's see, we always need to think about what's going to happen further down the line here, don't we? So I'm going to go for... well, we don't need that one in a minute because we're nowhere near the cost cap. So I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to go for that corporate one. And I don't believe I'm going to be able to do that before the next Grand Prix. I'm not. So next is... I'm pretty sure Zandvoort. No, it is Hungary. Okay, it is Hungary next. Well, Hungary gives us a great idea of whether we are or aren't at the right or wrong difficulty for all tracks or just Spa. What do we do here? Quality of life stuff. No, I want the development expansion still. That's what we need. Quality of life I don't really need anywhere at the minute. On-track investment, no. Owner XP. Comms research. Receive owner XP, everything is complete without delay. No, I think I need phase 2 stuff now. Expanded research roles, it's just new focus activity. 10 grand for an upgrade. Breakthroughs is what we want. Error breakthrough. Error expansion. Have we got anything that's a breakthrough that's still level 1? No. Okay. Well, let's go for a chassis breakthrough is what I think I'm going to do. Chassis development expansion. Research expansion. Where's my chassis breakthrough? Do I not have a chassis breakthrough? Error breakthrough. I don't have a chassis unless I've already done it. I might have already done it, to be fair. In which case, let's go for a powertrain breakthrough then. Here we go. Powertrain breakthrough. Personnel can't do anything here. Corporate can do something here. Phase 2, I think, is what we'll go for. Loyalty, I'm not worried about at the moment. Income from your title sponsor absolutely is going to be huge whilst we're trying to sign significantly higher valued other drivers. Right, now we're into what we can do on the car. Nothing on the aero side. Chassis side, we can do significantly more now. Redistribution or reduction? I'm going to go for reduction over redistribution. 1,200 resource points, though. That's massively expensive. All right, I'm going to go for the 980. Things are getting really, really pricey now. I didn't expect things to get this punchy this soon in terms of how much it's going to cost. I've got 979 left, and I don't really want to spend it on a durability side of things. That's going to slow us down significantly moving forward then. Anything here is done? Not yet, but something on the aero had... 2 on the aero have just a couple of days remaining. So let's start advancing then now towards the Hungarian Grand Prix. Please pass. We've got a personnel development thing as well. Oh, a result. 5% workforce hire rate, even, if you can actually read properly, Ches. Well done. I got a message about it as well. Chassis development breakthrough. Fantastic. So we might have some more things to research on the chassis side now, but obviously at the minute I don't have the resource points to do so. We can start improving the brakes now as well. Okay, good. We're in a position where we can just upgrade the car as and where we want to now, rather than being hamstrung by areas that we haven't yet unlocked. That's annoying. At least one of them passed. At least one of them passed there, so we can get the upgrade done on the front wing. So we'll stick that to Marta. And actually, look, on the performance chart, we're now above Haas and level with Alpine and V-Carb. So the car is significantly improving continually. That's upgraded. That failed, so we'll whack that back on there. And then on the aero side, we'll go for the DRS slot so we can get at least one of those on the car. We're not really going to need that for Hungary anyway, so as long as that passes for Belgium, that's fine. And if this is just reminding me, I think, that I've got enough resource points to be able to afford to put something else on. But nothing anywhere I might actually want it at the minute. I'd want it on the chassis side, or maybe engine power. Engine power could be beneficial in time for Monza as well. This is only the research. I've got no available slots anyway. Don't worry about it, it says. You can't put anything on the car. Well, I'm going to go and upgrade my livery then before we head to Hungary, but we will go with the... Nah, I think the medium tyre is going to be good here. Medium tyre is going to be the best race tyre, so I'm going to have 2 sets of mediums for Hungary, I think. I'm going to have 2 sets of mediums for Hungary. So that's where we will end today's episode. Thank you very much for watching this special episode. If you haven't already, do drop the video a like for that race win. I'd appreciate it very much indeed. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on any more. Do come and join me on stream to see almost, it seems, every lap of every session that we do. I don't know whether I'm gutted that that's happened on the one race I do when I'm not live, or actually I'm really glad that that's happened in the one race where I'm directing you guys solely to the YouTube video, where it will get hopefully inflated views. I don't know. But all we know is it happened. So join me on stream for more, and then you won't miss out on anything else, will you? I'll see you later.